Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Al Gore, I got a shout out.
Sorry, I'm drinking water.
I got a big shout out here. Shout out to Michael Travis, AIA. I got this message on Wednesday. Hi, Lance. I just got on your awesome podcast. College friend started his own firm with me joining, and we are making our way through the AEC jungle. So thanks a lot, Travis. And then he invited us to, if we were ever in DC, go check out his office location. So he is with S2R Architects. They do some really cool work. And then I asked him to give us a 5-star review. So he gave us 5-star reviews, and you have to send him an email, Al, with the ebook.
Well, wait, who was this?
This is Michael Travis.
Well, perfect. Will you forward me his email?
I will forward you his email. I will not give it out on air.
Okay. Another Axel Design gave us a shout out in a review, and I sent him a book. And basically, what he said. So you can check him out at Axel Design. What is it? .ca, because what is CA? California? .ca?
Might be. Yeah, doesn't matter.
No, but he's out of Montreal. Anyways, he says, I seriously love what you guys are doing. I already shared your podcast with my best friends, besties. Everyone loves besties. I have so many besties.
It's
Eric,
the best.
Lance, and my son.
Yep.
My son's better than both of you, but
of course he is.
You guys understand that.
Yeah, he likes lemons.
He eats the whole lemon. Every time we talk, we come back to saying the same thing. We see us and what you guys are doing, so that's absolutely awesome. So.
Fantastic! Glad it's helping everybody out. Share the podcast with somebody else you think that would like it. That's how the word gets out there, and how we all grow together as professionals. So we are all in this together at the end of the day, because it's all our profession, right?
Yep. So speaking of people, he said he sees him and his best friend like us. A lot of people have websites. Or they don't have websites.
And they should have websites.
They should have websites. Or they're thinking about redoing it. So I'm going to talk about my process and then unveil live on air to Lance what I've been working on.
I've been seeing him doing some graphical things with the website and stuff. And
yeah. I love how
I'm
just
interested.
Just like sitting over there, keeping your mouth shut.
He's peeking. I know he's doing something.
But let's talk about process, because we're process-orientated people.
Yep.
Because we think that's the differentiator, like how you go about something. So we've been talking about this for months, right? So the first thing that I do, and I'll bring up on our screen, but either Lance and I will describe what we're doing, is that I made a little bookmark list of just websites that I liked, right?
So you did that first?
For months.
For months.
Yep.
Just like I like the certain elements.
Yep.
Maybe I like them entirely, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. And then even ones that aren't architecture. So like there's like a caterpillar, on here. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So just collected a whole bunch. And then after that, I had to put everything together, right? So then I went to a Google Drive, and basically it's just a presentation. And I started to
Google Slides, to be precise.
Yeah. Yep. I started to grab things that caught my attention and why it caught my attention, right? So then I just started to put, things in there, right? I liked basically that people say, hey, who they've worked with or what their publications were. I liked the big image in front with like some sort of punch that hits the consumer. I liked, we haven't done this, but breaking things apart for people.
Breaking things apart. Let me describe it. Like it's a picture of a camera. It's got an axonometric, and it's kind of all the pieces are like layered and pulled apart.
Yep. I like the get to know us. There's a lot of things I like. I like the simplicity of some of these. So this is HubSpot.com, right? They have some cool things, right? So then I kind of got an idea, and I started to outline. Okay, what should the first page say, second page?
But Al, I thought you were supposed to start making the wheel from the beginning. Like, you don't reinvent the wheel.
Wait. You thought I'm just supposed to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, I'm supposed to reinvent the wheel. Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
No.
You learn from people who have done a great job first, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a little mini lesson here at the beginning of this.
Yep. So then one of the reasons why I wanted to do this to kind of revamp the website is we've learned more, right? So we both read Story Brand.
Yep.
And I kind of want to after this is done is like re-look through the book. You re-look through the book and say, are we missing anything? Can we add anything on, right?
Yep.
So then essentially, let's see if I have it in my Google Drives. Yeah, it's popping up right now. So then I have frameworks, right? So Made to Stick is a book that we both read, right? And it talks about having something simple, unexpected, unique, concrete, credible, and emotional, right? Story Brand talked about like have a problem, have a guide, have a choice and a result. So anyways, I was thinking about these as I put them together, and going back to the reason why I think we need a new website is because I think we have so much out there that we aren't showing yet. And here's one example. A client that came to us and went with us said, hey, I was looking at another architect, and brought together like a packet from that other architect laying out their whole process. And we've done this. And they're like, oh, do you guys do that too? I'm like, yeah, we just don't say that or show it all the time, right? So like, let's actually say and show what we do. So for example, if you go to our website right now, F9 Productions, there's a beautiful picture right there. And then you can go to select work, right? There's a whole bunch of different stuff. And let's just take Jazz House, for example, right? So click on Jazz House, which I think is one of our really good works, right? So we have a picture, Lance, that we can go through, right? And it kind of shuffles through. And then we have, I think there's like 6 pictures or something like that. 8 pictures.
7 pictures per project is what we have. Yeah.
And then a little bit just about it, right? So let's go to the new test layout. So remember our old, it was just like one image, and that was it. Now let's go to F9 test.
Okay, Al's showing me the test.
So this is a new one. So it's a big picture. It's actually Lance's house and his happy family smiling.
It's an even bigger picture than before, which I actually like. That's my first impression.
Oh, awesome.
I love when they're, for me, like on a website, like especially if it's an architect, any kind of design website. I want a giant image. I want the least amount of text. I just want to see what you can do.
Yes. And it's very clean.
And that's like the icebreaker, right? 'Cause I'm convinced by the big image, like, oh man, you guys do really cool stuff. I don't care if it's a business card, architecture, whatever, a widget, whatever you're designing. And then I go, because then I'm convinced, and then I go, okay, now I want to know how they do it.
So awesome. And then just to reiterate, there's your smiling family because you want people in there.
3 kids, 1 sleeping. Can't see him in the picture. I don't know if you know that, but Kai is never in the picture.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And
she's up in her room. So this was the day we moved in, and she was just like, I'm exhausted from staying in a hotel.
That's so fun. I've known your family for so long, and I didn't realize that
not even there.
One of your children was missing.
Yeah. Nobody else notices either because this is tangential story here. In the new contract that we have written, at the end of it, Alex and I bring this template now. It has blank numbers in it and stuff like that. But at the end of it, it says qualifying work. My house has become like a cornerstone for me to be able to tell people like, oh, look at my big family and all this other stuff. And I tell them 4 kids, they never notice. They never notice there's only 3.
Yeah, perfect. So then I'll go through this, but we can't, the solutions, like what can you do? How can you do it for me? Lance, I wrote this down so we come back to it, right? But I'm going to explain the cover page, right? So I have a tagline, and it's more than design. And before I had more than...
It says F9, and then like a line, more than design.
And
I like that. F9, more than design.
Because it rhymes. And I had...
Exactly.
I had more than just design, but I didn't want to
more than.
Yep. Then I said, founded on fundamentals. We could say focused on founded on fundamentals, focused on delivering your vision, right? So then we scroll down, another big image.
Ooh.
A nice, beautiful image, right? And
the other thing I want to note here is that Alex are you using just an out-of-the-box template from Weebly, or are you doing custom stuff?
Out of the box, but then I brought this into Photoshop, and you can see how I made the
gradient,
the gradient and all that.
So he's got a picture on the left, and then a gradient to a white, just space, and then he's got a nice piece of text that kind of lays out who is just introducing you to what we do and how we do it.
Yep. And then I'll come back to the cover page. But
the only thing I don't like is, and this is me being silly, is the font. But I hope we can just change it.
We can, but it's if you go to Weebly, I love Weebly because it's simple, which means we can iterate fast. But their fonts aren't as perfect as I would like. But we can play with it.
Fair enough. Yep.
So then I said more than just design because I feel like our firm is more than just design. We do a whole bunch, right?
We make jokes and podcasts too.
And it goes back to like, okay, we do have a process and we do preach to our guys and we have like a structure about how we train people, right? So you could click right here and that takes you to, it says F9 First Principles, which is right under this company tab, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it talks about the process, people, purpose, and then look at this, F9 Principles, right? There's 9 of them.
Oh,
right?
man. Okay, let me describe what he's doing. So scroll back up, Al. So off of that second page, he clicked on this little, it's got a piece of text that says here, and then it goes F9 First Principles. And then the heading is process, people, purpose, has a little description. But then what's really cool, and this is like how Al and I nerd out about like doing graphics. So and just making stuff up, right? We have all these different companies, F9, F12. So then what he's done is he says, okay, we have F principles. Here's the F1. Here's the F2, F3.
And it's
loving
big,
it,
bold,
loving it.
And these are all ones we've talked about, right? And we can update and go through them, right? Be brilliant at the basics.
It just makes us look like we didn't just make up F9 on the spot as the company
in
name.
college.
Yeah, it was really thought out. Yeah. But that's what's beautiful, honestly. I think that's one thing. This is a kind of a bigger point too. Is if you're starting a company, you don't have to have it all figured out at the beginning. You can just dive into it. I mean, there's a basic framework to do, but like let's say you have a name like ours for some weird reason, like F9, K12. You could come up with your own. You can design like your way. So you sort of set up a problem for yourself if you think about it that way. Like, K12. What does that mean? Well, maybe now I have to design my way into what it means.
Yep. So model like it gets built. Training and learning is force multiplier. Respond in 24 hours. Take extreme ownership. Substance, not style. Deliver value. Be profitable. Have fun. That was F9.
And F9, absolutely.
Yep. If you can't remember, all of these start with be professional, respond quickly, and over deliver. Right. So let's go back to home. Right.
Yep. Okay.
And then scroll down. So then it was basically principled, proven, and then like basically where we got an award.
And the proven part on the second page is it's all the cool stuff. HGTV, that we've been on HGTV. We won an International Architecture Award, Best of Hows. Arc Daily, by the way, there was a new article today that came out. We were featured in. Go check it out. Modern in Denver, Dwell, Cosmopolitan, and then some kind of other award.
That Arc Daily, we could link to an Arc Daily that has all of our stuff because I think you can filter by like F9.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
So if you guys want to see this, I'll put this on the podcast website, which is Inside the Firm.
The link, like on the show notes.
Yep.
Sure.
For everyone, it's f9test.weebly, which is EEBLY.com.
Yes.
I cannot see whatsoever. Okay, so then it's basically like, hey, this is what we can do. We're more than just design. We won awards, so we're proven. And then we made these videos that people really like. So let them inside, let them meet us. Again, a connection, right? And then right now, and then our priority is you. So then we have basically testimonials on there. And I really shorten them, right?
That's okay.
Pleasure to work with. Attention to detail is out of the box. I should have put that new one that I got this morning, right?
Yeah, which I have, by the way.
Yeah. And then contact us, stuff like that. Okay. Now, Lance, let's go to work.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's what I was going to ask you next is, okay, are they nice and clean like they were last time? Or?
Nice and clean.
Got to put that chicken coop in there, huh?
Not really. Don't have to, but it's there
I'm
right
just
now.
messing with you.
What I liked, so I'm building categories, right? And then you're going to be able to click on these and then go to like a page about them. But one thing I liked from one of the things that I saw was someone had R+D, so research and development. And I think we should have a category because we have skyscraper, Amazon, some of the thesis, like people nerd out about that, right?
They should.
And here's what I'm getting at is remember when we went to Jazz House before and it was pictures and then just an outline. So there's so much more behind Jazz House. So now when I click on Jazz House, Lance, goes to a huge picture of Jazz House, right?
These huge pictures.
Stats.
Yep.
Right? Then a little, description of it. So I was talking to someone that had a good website last week, and I go, "What do you think about the text and all that?" He goes, "It's still for SEO. You have to have it,
right? You've SEOs it, yeah, it's absolutely."
And that's what we are missing, right? That, and then also Lance,
and that's totally fair, yeah.
Remember, we made all these graphics / one of our guys.
We did. Yeah.
So then now all of these are in here, right? You can go through these graphics. You don't even remember these graphics. And then, Lance, we had the video just for Jazz House. So put that on there. We used to have all the videos just somewhere, in the background, and they'd watch the first one and they wouldn't watch the other ones. So now
it's just
paired.
It's just linked.
So
it's full circle.
The skyscraper page will have it right there, right? Yep. And then look at all these images.
Yes.
Just all these images.
Sweet. I'm so glad Alex did this.
Yep. And then at the end, contact us, right? So then that's going to be basically for every project, which is going to be huge. Like, that's going to be, people can dive deep.
Absolutely, yeah. They can nerd out. Yep. And I think the key is that is comprehensive, but then people at this day and age, I'm convinced. Well, we've done this before. We walked up to a house and we're gonna go meet a client, and they go like, "Oh, hey, you're Lance. I've already watched all your videos," and
Yep.
they already get a sense of who you are before
Yep.
you're there.
And then I think our company, we can kind of mimic how we have the page before. I think that one's actually pretty good, just our pictures and names and stuff like that. So this next one, solutions. So I was going to do solutions per category. So like solutions for multifamily, and then talk about a process. Solutions for residential, solutions for additions. And I'm like, that's going to be way too much work, especially if we kind of do everything that I already talked about. So this morning I actually thought like, well, why don't we just do solutions kind of like this homepage where we have, like a picture and this, and basically what we say is like, we go through what we do is a unique and cool, like, okay, we meet with the city before doing our permitting and get like a whole list, or we do like a test fit. We do as-built and we model like it gets, we model the whole thing. So just like have a page of just, scrolling through of all these kind of cool things that we do that really help the process along. And that's our website.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a great pass. Again, so glad Alex is doing it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, really, this is really on the right track. I mean, I think if we can just get that stupid, I could live with that text, but I just like Impact font the best. It's my favorite font.
Yeah.
That's all.
This is like almost Impact, but a little bit less, but not like Century Gothic.
It looks like Myriad Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
But regardless, I agree with you. It still looks like that looks good.
Yeah, nice and clean.
That looks good.
Cool. And we're gonna get new pictures of my house after next week.
Cool. But I won't put one up as the cover unless your family's in it.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, so we can add them to the when I do the page for your house.
Yeah.
New pictures.
All right.
Okay. That's all.
That's that. That's website talk.
Yep. Now, you want to talk about getting on social media?
I do. So we got there's the key. What I wanted to talk about was, once again, we were on Arc Daily. So I already mentioned it in this podcast before. We just got contacted out of the blue, but I swear it's the same gentleman who's been our contact for like 8 years or something.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
This guy.
Do you know who? A new guy?
This guy's Prop Architecture.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So is he guest writing for them?
Well, this is what I was going to go at. So getting on, we've talked about this before, but we'll hit it again. Let's say you want to get on one of these websites.
Yep.
Or let's say you want to get with a client. Basically, the overall principle that we think is worth it is that you have to do the work for them. So if you are going to get on Arc Daily, you have to have the project, you have to have the story, you have to write the story, and you have to present it to them, right? Now, what I want to transition, okay, that's you as a firm. What Colin's doing, so Colin is Prop Architecture.
Yeah, exactly. It's Colin Abdallah.
Yep, of Prop Architecture. He is now writing for them, right? And he was writing his own thing. So let's say you want to, for some reason, be a podcaster or be a writer for one of these things. How do you do that? You start submitting stuff to them and doing all the work for them. And if you don't know what to do, you just ask, like, hey, what kind of stories are you looking for? What would be interesting? Here's a couple topics. I'd like to write up something for you and then have you have a look at it. So he's just doing all this himself. And that's the key to getting any sort of publicity for yourself.
The first time, yeah, exactly. So that we don't, it doesn't need to be an in-depth discussion, but it's that simple. So I think just if you can, if you're trying to get stuff off the ground and trying to get a presence out there, there's no better way than to just start doing that and making that happen. Even if it's like one of your theoretical projects that let's say you're just transitioning from out of school into the professional practice. It can be one of those. That could be like your R&D thing. People love that stuff, and they're always looking for content. There's never enough content.
Yep. And then also, I'll reiterate, I said this before, but I think it's very topical, is basically what is the interesting news item and how can you relate that to architecture? So what's happening right now? The World Cup is happening right now. So if you are a firm that does stadiums, you should be proposing, hey, what would a soccer stadium look like in our city? And then you should be throwing that to the media, because the media right now, if you do their job for them, that's what they're looking for. All they do in the media, well, we could argue about this, but is report on what other people are doing.
Yes.
So you have to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they will report on it.
Yep. It's not hard.
Their days they're screaming, looking for ideas.
Yep.
That's all they're doing. So give them those.
Everybody
ideas.
wants an easier day, so you can make their day easier.
Yep. So let's transition from getting work to submitting for the city, and let's talk about our development project, because you're about to take it in for permitting.
Today is the day. It is very, very exciting. It has been a long road. Al took up the portion of getting through site plan review, which honestly, it's a ton of work. Very stressful. So he handled that. We have a meeting next week to hopefully get everything 100% finalized. And in anticipation of that, I have been working diligently with everybody on my team to get the construction docs together. We're finally at that point. We're going to submit digitally. I'm not right after lunch. That's my big goal. But in doing that, I've also been acting as not only the developer, the architect, but the contractor, and that's the important part here. And so, if anybody's ever thinking about doing a design build project, there's three things I want to let people know about, and that is, number one, this is my lesson learned, is leverage your models 100% for takeoffs. And then you got to, understand that. So like with Revit, we have modeled, and we made it a point to model everything on this project, all the way down to like making sure, like if a wall is in a chase, if it's a chase wall, like a mechanical chase, we make sure we only have gypsum on one side, because I'm taking the exact measurements of the gypsum and everything like that. So leverage all of that data, and then you need to spoon feed it to the subs. You need to say, and double check their work. So we had 2 stucco bids come in. They came in half of the square footage of what I was calculating. And what they missed was the inside of the parapet walls. So you can imagine, like, okay, let's say now that we took their original number and we went to a bank and we said, oh yeah, the stuccos came in at $60K, just throwing that number out there. Yeah. And then it comes back later in the field and they go 120. It's like, holy cow. Well, then we got to go back to the bank and ask them that. So it was a very quick learning lesson for me. So I just noticed those 2 numbers. And then after that, I just dove head first, getting every single square footage of everything down and not relying on the subs to read drawings, because they just can't. I'll be completely honest with you. Like, the majority of them cannot do it. So the roofing contractor's been pretty good. A couple other ones have been, hit. The framing's really good. They have to do it. But like, if you're talking about people for like paint and stuff like that, you need to just spell it out for them. So that's number 1. Or the number 2, sorry. And then number 3 is follow up and pick up the phone. So I've been sending out emails, and then I follow up with a phone call. And like, the guys in the office were like laughing, I think last week, because they heard the same follow up phone call about 30 times. Or I would just call the sub and I would say, hey, I'm Lance from F9 doing this and that or whatever. Please call me back. Sent you this on X, Y, and Z.
That's hilarious. I must have been out of the office for that.
I think you were, because Jason was making fun of me. It was hilarious. Yeah. So make sure you do that, and then because and you got to stay right on top of them, and don't get discouraged, and don't get discouraged, because we just met with one of our contractor buddies yesterday, and what he said is, right now in the climate of Denver, Colorado, which is booming with construction, is he goes, you're lucky if you get 5. If you get 5 bids in 30 days, you're doing great. And I go, oh, well, I'm already beating that. And he goes, great, you're doing great. So just don't get discouraged. You just got to stay on top of it and make the phone calls and be on top of them. And then at the end of the day, spoon feed. So there's my little tip.
Awesome.
I love being a first-time real contractor.
So with that, let's go to our other bestie, Nick, with Nick Reads.
Hello, best friends, and Al. I hope you all had a great week this week. A reading. As I spoke to people, poker players, airline pilots, military generals, executives, and cognitive scientists, a handful of key insights began to emerge. I noticed that people kept mentioning certain ideas over and over. And at the root of these ideas was one big insight. Productive people have habits. What psychologists might call contemplative routines that pushes them to think more deeply about the choices they make. The most productive people push themselves to come up with big goals and then have a system for breaking them into manageable parts. They scrutinize how they spend their time to see if it aligns with their priorities. They pay close attention to how teammates react to different modes of communication. They force themselves to learn about unfamiliar topics, and in the process inspire new breakthroughs. Put differently, productivity isn't about working more or sweating harder. It's not about spending longer hours at your desk or making bigger sacrifices. Rather, the difference between being merely busy and genuinely productive is about taking control of how we think and make better choices, instead of simply reacting to life's constant demands. That, my friends, is an excerpt from Smarter, Faster, Better by Charles Duhigg. Alexa, play Slam. Toodles!
Slam.
Da 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 da. What I liked about that, everyone should have heard about the concept of routines and stuff like that. But I've always thought about it as, you do your routine so that you don't have to think. But what it said and it highlighted is that these routines push people to think more deeply about the choices that you make. So, and I think that's true. I just never thought about it that way. Because then if you have your routine, you're doing, you're isolating your task because you know it's in your routine. So now you can just focus on that task and go deeper on it. So I thought that was cool.
It just, my big, we've already said it before, but I think taking control of your time is 100%. That's how the people who get stuff done on a routine basis, even though we think at the end of the day, people ask us, well, how do you get, well, we don't, it looks like we're getting a lot done. To us, we're always thinking, we didn't get enough done. But it's so critical to have a calendar and schedule every single little thing. For me, anyway, like that's the only way I can keep track of everything. And then I have certain allotted time periods in the day, like in the morning where I do certain things, in the afternoon where I do certain things. And then my other thing was just running head on at things, and like not letting them keep festering, like stupid stuff about getting my oil changed. Like, the light came on, going right to the oil place. Screw it.
Yeah. And know what? So these little principles are part of F9's first principles.
Whoa.
So, but I might say it in there or not is we do have semi-formal training about this with our guys, but just to let you know, hey, the whole world knows the standard that you should be held to because it's all right there on our website. So anyone can be held accountable for those.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, are we ready for
ARE Jeopardy? All right, here we are, guys. Question number 1. What material stores the most amount of heat per volume? A, soil. B, water. C, stone. D, spray foam insulation. Stores heat. A, soil. B, water. C, stone. D, spray foam insulation. Do. 3, 2, 1. C. B. B is correct.
B is
water.
correct.
Water. Yep, but your best trom wall is actually a wall full of water.
My neighbor's house.
Does he have water?
It's a trauma. Well, it's a
stone trauma wall, not a water.
But it has water pecs. It has pecs going through it.
Oh, yeah.
In the wall. So therefore,
yep, and that's transferring the heat from the stone. But if you had barrels, those big blue barrels of water in front of a wall, that would actually store more heat than the stone. And that's why global warming people are always looking at the ocean temperature, because it stores a lot of the heat is absorbed there. All right, question. So wait, we had one right there. Question 2. Reentrant corners in buildings are A, a strength point in the building. B, the perfect place for an entrance. C, obtuse angles in the floor plan. D, cause high stress concentrations. Reentrant corners in buildings are A, a strength point in buildings. B, perfect place for an entrance. C, obtuse angles in the floor plan. D, cause high stress concentrations. All right.
Go ahead.
Lance, you know this one? B-A-D. The answer is D. Who had D? Woo, kicking it. So,
wow.
Yep. You should know what reentrant corners are for the ARE test. There will be a question on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it is D, cause of high stress concentration, right? So think about a building, a plan shaped like an L. If there's an earthquake, it is going to crack right there.
At the reentrant.
Yep, at the reentrant corner.
Not the entrant.
Yes. You're like... But yeah.
So, hey, good guess. Good guess.
Okay.
All right, number 3. What is a curve that is built into a beam known as A, camber, B, curve, C, crown, D, shape. D, C shape. I'll read it again. What is a curve that is built into a beam known as A, camber, B, curve, C, crown, D, C shape?
C, she sells, she shores.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one.
All right, guys. A, and A.
Correct. However, crown would work. A crown would work, but really it's camber. All right, 4. What is the pressure exerted by a liquid against a surface known as A, liquid pressure, B, hydrostatic pressure, C, static pressure, D, liquid heave? 4. What is the pressure exerted by a liquid against a surface known as A, liquid pressure, B, hydrostatic pressure, C, static pressure, D, liquid heave? B.
Correct. We have a winner. It is Ross, hands down.
Wow, 4 for 4?
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Crushed it.
All right.
Yep. All right. Let's do some shout-outs. First, let's shout out Second Studio. So what Second Studio is a podcast network comprising of Mark LePage, Arky Speak, and us inside the firm. I don't even know if the website's up, but it doesn't matter. The website will be up. Lance had some critical things to say about it, but it's a great website, and we'll put the link in the show notes. Basically what it is just an informal group of 3 podcasts that are literally geared towards helping the community. And it's just one place to kind of showcase that. And that's it. We don't know where it's going, what it's taking us, but we like them and they like us, so that's nice. Second, again, support the podcast, and you can support the podcast by getting in the game, meaning not just support the podcast by, and we love when people give us reviews. We're up to 40 reviews, and it is absolutely awesome. We love when you share it with other people, because that's then you getting in part of the game, because then you're having those conversations. How can you start a firm? How can you make your firm better? How can you grow? What's going on there? How can you learn Revit, right? So that's a way to get in the game. A lot of people are doing that, and they're doing that by going to RevitRocketship.com, which is our training for Revit. If you have any questions or concerns about if you know Revit, how to do it, if you want to grow into it, take that course. It's done by me. It is absolutely phenomenal. If you do not like it, I will give you back your money, guaranteed. But I'm almost going to guarantee that you're going to love it. If you don't like it, then either you knew everything and then you just looked over and got your money back, or you're crazy.
There's no way around that.
There's no way around it. It's broken down into bite-sized chunks, but it's not just explaining what Revit is and how you can do it. You're actually building a whole house and a CD set, essentially, close to one, while you're doing it. And then it's showing you how to start your own project. And then it's giving you our template that we have developed and honed over years with these amazing guys that we've made absolutely powerful and amazing for you. So it's a great deal. You'll love it. Again, RevitRocketShip.com. Go there. Use the code word 25% -off. And guess what? You get 25% off for being a listener.
There you go. Just want to say shout out, thanks to everybody for listening to the podcast. If you have a favorite episode, one person wrote, just listened to podcast 48. I had this exact same scam email and found myself wondering if it was a legit request for architect services. Thank you, Lance, for sharing your story, as it saved me a lot of time and hassle as I would have responded to this request a similar way to help. So please leave us a review. We love everybody who's listening. Have a great weekend. For everybody who's out in New York City for AIA Con, have a good one. We plan on seeing everybody in Las Vegas next year.